Believe the experience of the eclipse. I mean, it's still just, it literally gives me goosebumps every time I talk about it. It's a visceral, emotional experience that is just, you have to experience it to understand.
I thought I knew what it would be like, but I gasped at the sheer wonder. It's going to be a, you're going to hear that intake of air and ah. It was the most beautiful natural thing I've ever seen. So to have an eclipse basically in my backyard is just, it's indescribable.
As you can see, the town is alive, preparing for these spectacular moments. Now, Gina, the sun not only impacts us here on Earth, right?
That's right, Tahira. So the sun impacts our entire solar system. And in fact, when we explore with NASA, that's something that we have to take into consideration.
So I'm glad you said exploring, because I actually just recently learned that the sun even impacts human exploration in the solar system, which I thought was really cool. So let's take a second and see how studying heliophysics is actually helping us prepare for sending humans to the moon and Artemis program. NASA has studied the sun and its influence throughout our solar system for decades. The Artemis program will provide a better understanding of solar activity through 2 new missions. Hermes is an instrument package that will monitor space weather from the moon and be placed on NASA's Gateway, an orbital outpost being built for lunar operations and eventually Mars exploration. The dual spacecraft Escapade mission will examine the effects of solar wind on the red planet's atmosphere. Heliophysicists at NASA are working to protect astronauts who will travel to the moon and to Mars by increasing our understanding of the space environment through which they must travel. With safety ever at the forefront, the agency is using spacecraft observations and simulations to better understand space weather. That's a look at your Artemis Moon Minute. Folks, I've learned that it is almost time for Annularity to make its move into Albuquerque, New Mexico. We've got Joy standing by at our other desk, who is going to tell us about an upcoming NASA mission and show us live views from this solar eclipse. Joy, Michael, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you right now?
I think I'm about a 20 right now. What about you, Michael?
Oh, I am so excited. You can see the light changing. It's getting a little bit chilly. I am so excited.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
So now we're joined with NASA scientist Dr. Nikki Weil, who's going to tell us about a new sun mission. Firstly, Nikki, how are you feeling today?
It is so amazing to be here. I'm so excited to be able to be a part of this festival and witness the annular eclipse.
So, Nikki, what is the PUNCH mission and what does it stand for?
So PUNCH is a NASA small explorer. It stands for Polarimeter to Unify the Corona and Heliosphere. So the corona is the outermost atmosphere of the sun. It's the part of the sun that you get to see during a total solar eclipse when the moon totally blocks out the main body of the sun. And then the heliosphere is the bubble carved out by the sun as that corona turns into a solar wind and fills our solar system.
So I know that PUNCH has a big outreach effort as well, especially looking at humanity's interaction with the sun and observing the sun. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, humanity has been studying the sun and the moon and those different cycles for millennia. And one place where there's a lot of evidence of that studying of the sun is over in Chaco Canyon here in New Mexico. And actually our PUNCH outreach team, some of our PUNCH outreach team is over there in Chaco right now, where there's just so much evidence of ancient and modern sun watching. The ancient sun watching, their evidence is on the rock of the sun, there's this petroglyph of what we think might be the 1097 total solar eclipse that actually went right over Chaco Canyon on a path similar to the annular eclipse today.
That's
and then,
amazing.
of course, the modern sun watching is what we're all doing here today, and of course our Native American partners on the PUNCH outreach effort that still honor some of their traditional sun watching efforts, and then of course our NASA missions like PUNCH and Parker Solar Probe.
That's amazing. And you mentioned PUNCH shows and studies the sun's atmosphere, the corona. Why do we need to study the sun's atmosphere?
The corona is amazing because it is hundreds of times hotter than the photosphere below it, the surface of the sun, the part that we should never look directly at. So that's amazing. That's like if you walked away from a fireplace and it got hundreds of times hotter. Now, we know it has to do with the magnetic fields rooted down in the sun, but we don't know exactly how that energy gets into the corona. So that's one of the things we're really interested in studying.
Right, so we're looking at a live shot on camera of this eclipse. We're getting really close to annularity. So what are you looking forward to as a scientist when you think about eclipses and especially with the new mission coming up?
Punch is going to be so amazing because it's going to take images of the corona and that plasma as it fills the solar system in regular white light, like we could see it with our eye if our eye were sensitive enough and if the moon always blocked out the main body of the sun. But it doesn't, and that's why we need NASA missions like Punch to do that for us.
Fantastic. I can't wait for the mission to launch.
Me neither. I'm super excited about it.
So we're like we're moments away, minutes away from the annular eclipse here. Nikki, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy the annular eclipse.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been great.
And I hope you keep safe from the wind. The wind has kind of picked up right now. So the skies are clear, the wind has picked up, but we have a clear view of the annular eclipse. So remember, the annular eclipse is moments away from Albuquerque and the sun is never completely covered. So during the eclipse, you have to keep your eclipse glasses on the entire time. You can also use other indirect viewing methods too, like a pinhole projector if you don't have eclipse glasses. So Michael, do you have your glasses ready?
I have mine ready.
Great. So now let's go to a full screen view of the telescope here in Albuquerque. Wow.
Wow.
We are minutes away and you can see that the ring of fire is almost here.
Yeah, the sun is just egressing over into the moon, or the moon's egressing onto the sun. We're getting closer and closer. The light here on the ground is visibly different, and looking up at the sky, where we see a thumbnail moon. It is, or thumbnail sun. It is gorgeous.
Wow. The ring of fire, the almost ring of fire, it looks so sharp and clear with our beautiful skies today.
Yeah, it really is almost that Johnny Cash moment. We're getting close to the ring of fire. It is really beautiful to see happening in real time as well. This is one of those events where I can sit and watch and see how the moon is progressing and see that changing.
I can't believe that we can actually see the moon moving in front of the sun right now. You can literally see it. It's just incredible.
So as we approach annularity, you might be able to see Bailey's beads. These are bright points of light of the sunlight coming through the valleys on the moon itself, right before the annularity begins.
You can even hear the crowds in the background. You can just feel the atmosphere building up.
Yeah, it is palpable. Everybody is super excited here. I know I am just thrilled. We are just in the final countdown. You can hear some people starting to cheer and starting to get all pumped up themselves.
Wow, the ring of fire is almost here. I'm just going to take my glasses off briefly and you can see the crowd. Everyone is just staring safely at the sun right now. It's just amazing that we're all united looking at this amazing celestial event.
And make sure you take a look at the shadows around you. You're going to see these crescent shadows everywhere as different objects create natural pinhole projectors. And so make sure that you do have a moment to take a look at the world around you, because there's a beautiful rings. So let's take a minute and just be quiet and enjoy the view. It is a gorgeous sight to behold.
Everyone is cheering. This is so amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
This is amazing. You can hear people screaming in the background.
People are so excited. And take off your eclipse glasses safely, of course, and make sure you look at the shadows around you, look at how the environment has changed, and just make note of this entire event.
Wow, this is so amazing. This really puts our planet in perspective with the whole solar system, you know?
It's truly spectacular. It's one of those natural phenomenon that I just feel so lucky to be here at this place at this time to be able to observe it.
Wow, I'm just looking at a tiny pinhole below and I see a little ring, like a little spotlight. This is so cool.
You can see ringlets dotting everywhere around here. See people taking pictures of the ground.
How are you feeling, Michael?
Oh, this is spectacular. You know, we've been preparing for this event for so long. To actually be in this moment and to be experiencing it live is just tremendous. Joy, how are you feeling?
I'm just in awe, you know, I can feel the temperature drop and this ring of fire feels so long. It's just about 4 minutes long and it feels just incredible that we are seeing moon right in front of the sun right now.
So that moon's shadow is traversing across the ground at a few thousand miles an hour, almost Mach 3. So even though it seems like it's lingering, it's actually making really good progress, and pretty soon our colleagues in Kerrville will be seeing the annularity too.
Wow, and the crowds, everyone is still staring, looking at the annular eclipse. I love that everyone is here together, enjoying this together. Wow.
Yeah, you can almost hear a little bit of an awe and reverence among the crowd. Like initially there was a bit of cheering and then everything got a little bit quieter as people took in the sight. I think that, you know, as people experience this event, it strikes both, you know, personal but also communal, and it's a really beautiful, beautiful event to see.
I would say we have about thousands of people in the fiesta today and hundreds on the museum grounds. Everyone is just excited about this eclipse and it's just so lovely to see.
And I think also what I really love to do is to look at the crowd and see everybody looking up at the sky with their glasses on in the same place. It's just, it's fun to do a little bit of people watching as well.
Yes. Wow, this is a perfect ring of fire. It's just so crisp.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm so excited for the science that is going to be coming out of this too. Of course, I always come back to the science, and this opportunity to have the moon covered to this extent is going to provide us really amazing data about how the sun and moon and Earth how they interact with each other.
Oh my goodness, we have about 30 seconds left of annularity here. I just want to absorb this moment.
It's so fast and so slow.
Definitely. Wow, what a sight.
Sometimes you just have to take a moment to take it in.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, we have a few more seconds left of annularity in Albuquerque.
Yeah, we're closing down on the last little bit. See if you can see a Bailey's bead possibly popping up right as that edge of the moon it aligns with the edge of the sun. Just seconds left. Really such a gorgeous sight.
It really is. Oh, that is going to be a moment to remember.
Absolutely.
So Kerrville is going to be experiencing this very, very soon. So let's head back to them in Kerrville, Texas to see what they're up to.
Oh, I mean, Joy and Michael, like, I got goosebumps watching you experience annularity. And Gina, like, that is about to be us soon.
It's true. I mean, so Tahira, we're about 550 miles away from them, and we will have annularity in about 10 minutes because, as Michael said, the moon's shadow is traveling more than 1,000 miles an hour. Everyone's so excited.
Yeah, as you can see, the crowd is just getting excited for today's opportunity. And folks, it's starting to get dimmer here. Like, it is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So, Gina, other than sheer beauty, why do we observe eclipses at NASA?
Well, NASA can learn a ton of different science from the eclipses. So let's talk about exoplanets for a second, because when we study exoplanets, we are actually using eclipses. The planet itself is passing in front of its host star, and so we can learn about the exoplanets. There are eclipses on other planets in our solar system that we can study, but here on Earth, the science that we're able to do will inform us about the upper atmosphere and how it responds to the sun. So really understanding kind of that sun-Earth connection. We can do lunar science as well, and of course, solar science, learning more about the sun.
So eclipses are touching Earth science, planetary science, sun science.
Everything.
That's incredible. And
Across the
NASA's
spectrum.
studying it all.
Yes, exactly. We take advantage of that, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, spectacular sight, spectacular science.
Yeah.
So, folks, we have James standing by at our eclipse desk with a telescope operator who's going to show us the next city experiencing annularity. James, how are things looking?
Yeah, hey Tahira, I just had a quick look outside. It is really surreal here. It's kind of hard to process exactly what we're seeing because it's daytime, but it feels like it's not. It's starting to get already very close to annularity. You can hear a lot of screams behind me now. Right now, we're actually getting the annularity in Roswell, New Mexico. They should have a phenomenal view outside right now. And I'm actually joined by a telescope operator who's been providing a phenomenal view for us all morning with her telescope. This is Kat Trosch. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
Yeah, it's really mind-blowing seeing it. And so you have quite the setup. Could you walk us through exactly what you have outside for us?
Sure. I have a Celestron 6 SE. It's a Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope with a solar filter on the front and a DSLR camera that's streaming to YouTube.
And so a Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope's a bit of a unique telescope. Usually you think of kind of like a long cylindrical thing, but this concentrates the image in a different way, right?
Right. So it's a little bit more compact. It's definitely designed for astrophotography in mind. And how it works is there is a glass corrector plate in the front. It's clear glass. And the light from anything that you're looking at, whether it's planets or in this case today the sun, will travel through the corrector plate to the primary mirror that's at the back of the telescope. Then that will bounce back into the secondary mirror that is attached to the corrector plate on the front, and then it'll go through again back at the, into the diagonal that's attached to the DSLR camera or an eyepiece if you're looking at it.
So a pretty complex process, and also you have to have special protection for the telescope itself because you're used to looking at pretty dim objects. What do you have set up for that?
So I have a white light solar filter, and it is incredibly important. Just like protecting your eyes, you need to have solar equipment for your telescope or your camera if you're photographing the sun.
Yeah, and so also, this is obviously moving really quickly across our sky. You just heard from Michael that this is really quite a quick event here. So how do you keep it in the field of view of the camera?
Well, thankfully, the remote control that's part of the telescope actually has a city database set up, so I can program it for city and state, and Kerrville was actually listed.
Look at that. Very awesome. And yeah, so you can see it's already moving very quickly towards us. This is where annularity is going to be currently taking place. You can see we're next in line here, coming up in just a little bit. So very excited to continue tracking this across our skies. Thank you so much for providing this awesome view for us all morning. You can really see it's really getting close now. It's got this beautiful crescent to it. Usually we're used to a crescent moon. We've got a crescent sun today. I mean, really awesome. And in just a few moments, we're gonna have the ring of fire of annularity. Very excited to have that. Thank you so much for joining us, Kat.
Thank you.
And back to you, Tahira.
Thanks, James and Kat. Now, we have about 6-ish minutes, 6:30, until annularity makes its way here to Kerrville, Texas. As you can hear, the anticipation is high.
They're so excited.
And so, Gina, as we count down to the big moment, let's take a few social questions.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we have something to see here on X. who asks, am I seeing a couple of sunspots on the telescope feed?
Yes, so you are seeing some sunspots. As I look at the live feed, maybe not so much right now because the moon is blocking most of the sun, but when the moon wasn't covering as much of the sun, you could see some darker spots, some black spots here and there, and those in fact are sunspots, which are areas of really intense magnetic fields, and the surface of the sun is actually cooler, which is why they appear darker than the rest of the bright sun that we see. Now, we heard a little bit about space weather and some of that solar activity that's coming towards Earth during, some of the sun's activity, and basically these sunspots are where that activity can come from. And right now, the sun is in the part of its solar cycle where more of those sunspots start to appear. So the sun goes through an 11-year cycle, where it becomes active and then where it becomes less active. And right now we're inching towards what we call that solar maximum. And so more and more of those sunspots appear, and that's what we're seeing today.
That is incredible. And I mean, again, talk about activity. Gina, this crowd right now, like, folks, if you could see it, I don't know if you exactly.
There you go.
We have folks looking up already with the eclipse glasses on. You see the live telescope feed in your on the screen right now. We are moments away. What I think is super cool, we've even got some folks out here with their own telescopes and cameras to really capture this spectacular event.
Yeah.
And so, again, it looks like we've got about 4 minutes. The crowd is growing, and I'm interested to see how everything kind of calms down too. So we'll see. Gina, I have another question. This is from Baron on YouTube, who asks, does a solar eclipse have a material impact on the atmosphere?
Oh, I love this question because with the eclipse, we really are trying to understand the sun-Earth connection. And so you can almost think of the eclipse as a controlled experiment. Basically, the fact that we often, experience changes in our atmosphere during the nighttime, but the eclipse is almost able to turn off and on the sun. So
even right now we were blasted with the sun earlier, and now it's just
chilly.
like it's darker.
Yeah, and so it's the upper atmosphere that we're really interested in understanding, and the energy and the radiation from the sun creates what we call the ionosphere, this upper part of the atmosphere that's filled with charged particles. And so when the sun's radiation is not hitting the atmosphere, that ionosphere, it changes in its density, its temperature, and we're really trying to understand those changes, and the eclipse gives us that opportunity to really turn the sun on and off, which we can't do
it's like
in
a little
any other
experiment
circumstance.
that honestly all of us also get to be a part of.
Right?
So that's really cool.
It is.
Thanks, Gina. So our next question is from Hunter on YouTube, who asks, does the solar eclipse affect the moon when it happens at night?
Okay, great question, Hunter. So today, as we're experiencing a solar eclipse, that means that the moon is between the sun and the earth. Now, the lunar eclipse that can take place is when the moon is actually on the other side of the earth. And so today we're experiencing that solar eclipse, and we see that the moon is very dark.
And it looks like too, we're getting a live feed.
Looking at that feed.
All of another annularity taking place right now. Odessa, Texas. Wow.
Oh, there we go.
It's cool to see this comparison right now. What is that? What's on the side of the screen?
Like we might have some solar activity.
Is that a Bailey's bead?
Yep.
Or solar activity? Wow.
Wow. That's
incredible.
A great view.
It is leaving Odessa right now and heading
It's coming our way.
Us,
you
Gina.
can see
oh my goodness.
in the other live feed that we just have that teeny tiny sliver of the sun left peeking out.
Wow. We've got about 2 minutes here, folks. As you can hear, the crowd is chanting and counting down until our moment right now. Ah, that is beautiful.
It's coming in so quickly too.
And you can
I'm going to grab those glasses so that I have them.
Okay, wow. So before we hit our moment and peak in annularity, Folks, it's a good time to give a reminder that it is never safe to look directly at the eclipse without proper eye protection when watching even a partial or annular solar eclipse directly with your eyes. You must look through safe solar viewing glasses or a handheld viewer at all times. Do not look at the sun through a camera lens, telescope, binoculars, or any other optical device while wearing eclipse glasses. Wait, one more minute, folks. If you don't have eclipse glasses, you can use an indirect viewing method like a pinhole projector, which has a small opening and will project the image of the sun onto a nearby surface. You just heard it. We are under a minute away from the annular eclipse making its way across our area into Kerrville, Texas.
It feels like it's gotten here so quickly. We've been counting down.
I know.
And now we're less than
It
a
is
minute.
beautiful. And so, again, you're witnessing firsthand the moon passing between our star and the Earth. And we're taking this full screen right now. Gina, let's take this opportunity and get a closer look.
All right.
Oh my gosh,
And looking
this is
around,
the
I mean,
first
everything
time.
is so dim.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
oh my God. Wow, you know, like, why am I emotional right now?
Oh,
This
there
is-
we go.
Oh my God, this is.
I mean, it doesn't look real.
I didn't think I would cry. Like, what the heck is going on? Wow. This is.
Wow. It looks great.
I mean,
You can just see, it looks like a perfect circle of the sun
perfect
peeking out. It really is that ring of fire that we have here.
wow. Gina, I thought I'd have goosebumps, but I'm like literally shaking. This is crazy.
I know, I agree.
So, I mean, this
And
is
I'm
your
just-
first annular eclipse. I mean, was it what you expected?
It is to hear, I mean, we've seen all of the photos from previous annular eclipses, but just as I look again, I mean, it's incredible how the moon and the sun are able to line up like this.
And again, I mean, the moon is way smaller than the sun, but right now it's really giving it a run for its money.
It is, yeah.
Why is that?
Well, so a little fun fact about our moon that's pretty incredible. It's 400 times smaller than the sun, but it's also 400 times closer to the Earth.
No
and
way,
that
400 and
400 is the
400?
magic number here, yeah. The fact that 400 and 400, that means in the sky, the moon and the sun appear to be the same size. And that is unique to us on Earth. No other planet in our solar system has that ratio that makes it so special.
So you're saying that if we viewed an eclipse on another planet, it wouldn't look like this?
It wouldn't. I mean, I'm sure it would be great to see, but it would not look as spectacular as this.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna turn behind me really fast.
Yeah, looking around. And you can just see everything. The shadows are a little bit different.
Dark.
It's dim. You get this hazy feeling, but the sky is still blue. That's what's strange about it.
Oh, it's so sweet. We've got parents like holding little eclipse glasses on their kids to look up. This is just, it's really amazing how just like, I don't know, a natural phenomenon can really make the world pause for a second.